Hey there, welcome back to Tennille Talks. So I haven't come up with a title for this one just yet, but we'll talk about the energies of this message. So we have a privileged lady or a star energy. And so when I say privileged, I'm not thinking of what privilege looks like earthly, on the earth side. I'm thinking of just what somebody would look like from the cosmos, from the astral realm, from the spirit realm. And so a privilege is a person that has some type of asset that gives them an advantage. And so because everything is spiritual in the space that we share together, we know that this lady is privileged based on who they are or who they identify as in the spirit realm. And so this is a star energy. So typically somebody that has the energy of a star, it means that, look, the ancestors that are really pushing you beyond the realm understand the position and the privilege that you carry. And so you are the one that they have chosen to pour all of themselves into. You are the vessel that they work closely with. They believe in you, they support you, they guide you. Ancestors are not to be worshipped, but they're to be acknowledged as a guide, right? As a source of inspiration for the next steps that you can take on your path. And let's be clear that not all ancestors are vying for your achievement, right? And so you really have to kind of ask and seek out the benevolent versus the malevolent. So anyway, a privileged lady or star energy who's coming up as a divine feminine, or at least that's the energy signature. It doesn't have to be, the sex of the body, is working in her purpose, teaching people about their shadow. And so this seems like a long time coming. I just saw something the other day and it said it took Jesus 30 years to prepare for a mission that only lasted 3.5. And so if many of us, when we have really big mantles to carry or really big shoes to fill, it's not always going to come at 18. It's not going to come at 25. It may not come at 35. It may not come until 52, right? And so we always kind of have this illusion of how life should unfold, the age in which we should marry, the age in which we should start a career, the age in which we should buy a home and have a car and start to develop and gain assets. We have these illusions, but none of that really correlates to whatever our spiritual assignment is. And so this is a long time coming for whoever I'm talking to, but you finally got to the point where you realize that all of the darkness behind you was really a part of the testimony that you were supposed to use to propel you forward and to build your platform for those that need your voice the most, okay? And so the idea is that you finally made it to the point where you've grown, and now everything that you have to offer another is going to bring you in some type of gain, some type of unexpected income. It's like you have just graduated, you got your diploma, and now you can work in the position that you are most divinely guided to work in. Okay? Now there's a magician who is concerned about receiving judgment now that you, in the energy of the divine feminine, this privileged lady, is in her divine purpose. So I'm getting the fact that there was somebody who's spiritually gifted, who had contact or connection or somebody who's almost like a babysitter. Now we don't know how long this person had been watching you in your life. We don't know who assigned them to you. Maybe you do, but it didn't show up in this reading just clearly. But there is somebody that has spiritual power and insight and knowledge to the point that they can see inside of your life. This person is concerned because, one, the visibility that they once had is waning. It's they no longer have access to you in the way that they used to. But they also know that you have reached your platform, and your platform may actually ascend you beyond whatever it is that they have been doing in their life. And so you're almost becoming bigger than the teacher, whether you knew this person, but nonetheless, this person was able to watch you as you grew. But now you're getting to the space where you are going to outgrow all of those that thought that they had a level of control. Now, there's a mature woman. So this can be an older woman, a mother, a grandmother, an aunt, somebody that you may have considered to be a source of wisdom or influence, affluence even. There's a mature woman that appears to be courteous and affluent and well respected. This could be a close relative to whoever you are showing up as a person of privilege. This older mature woman is actually showing up as a third wheel energy. So there is a maternal figure in your family, somebody that you're connected to, even if it's not biologically, that maybe has a position or a title of somebody that's trustworthy and safe and a confidant. But the reality is that their spiritual present, who they are beyond the veil, this person is an enemy. And so this could be the person that has been watching you and has had access to you for decades and decades and decades, right? So this enemy at some point took a leap of faith in the direction of negatively affecting the confidence and the inner strength that you possess. And so as you get stronger and more confident and develop more courage, there was someone close enough to you that wanted to almost knock you down a peg, right? And so if you are a balloon, they just wanted to take a pin and they just wanted to pop a little hole in the balloon, one that's not big enough for you to notice, but they wanted to be able to let the air out slowly. They never wanted you to know that they were a part of the people or the plan or the plot to drain you, right? They were your ceiling. They wanted to be your ceiling. They wanted to cap your growth. They wanted to cap your essence. If they could just put you in a jar and toss you away, they'd be happy. But that's not God's will. This woman appears to be a person of wise counsel, but her true intention is to be close enough to this star energy, this privileged lady, to inspect and to impact her belief in herself. And so if this woman has the ability to change your mind in terms of how you think about yourself, feel about yourself, what do you believe you're possible to do, your capabilities, right? And so if they can just give you little seeds of doubt, little seeds of insecurity, right? They want something to grow inside of you that they can nurture over time that would have an adverse effect on your spiritual mission, right? They want to, so if God says we need you to go left, this person is going to sit in your energy and slowly pull you right? And so they're going to hold on to the back of your shirt. They're going to untie your shoes. They're going to stick their foot out so you stumble, right? And I'm not saying that they're doing this physically, but spiritually, absolutely. This person is a roadblock. This person is a hindrance. This could be a mother, an aunt, or a grandmother, but it's showing up as somebody who's a maternal figure who by title, you would never really suspect that this is what they've been doing, but this is who they are. Now, your sacral energy, the sacral energy of this privileged lady is like a gold mine. It's the seed of your creativity, the seed of your sensuality, your pleasure, your emotions, and your sexuality. And so we know that sex is the most sacred thing because it is by way of sex that we have the ability to bring a spirit from beyond the veil into the physical world, right? And so sometimes sex is not always about intercourse. It's your ability to have sex with your own energy and to birth something, to bring an idea, right? If you think it, you already have it. And sometimes our thoughts are connected to who we are as our higher self. And so how do we get what our higher self is taking us towards to manifest itself in the physical world? This would take place in your sacral. And so your sacral is like a factory. You can pump out beautiful ideas and beautiful businesses and the things that you can create are incredible, right? And this is a part of your spiritual gift. And so if somebody can tie up or bound or bind or harm your sacral chakra in any kind of way, obviously that is going to impact what it is you can or cannot create. Now, at some point, privileged lady, star energy, you may have suffered prolonged indecision. So that's that self-doubt. That's never knowing where to go or what to do. Personally speaking, I went to college to become a teacher, and even before graduation, I had already had my teaching position. And I was teaching for all of the right reasons. Obviously, income was not one of them, right? So my heart was in the right space. But something about the environment and the structure of school did not suit my soul. Even as a teacher, I felt bullied. I felt ostracized. And it was because I was too fucking good, right? I loved kids for the right reason. I wasn't some narcissist that just wanted to boss around little spirits all day long. I wasn't somebody who was miserable in my marriage and the only place I could go was to work, to feel powerful, to dominate, to control another because I had no control in my personal life, right? And so I experienced like hazing and hatred as a teacher. I mean, the way people mock and sabotage like other adults for just loving what they do is crazy. But like the environment was making me sick, right? And so me and teaching broke up many times, and I stepped into many different career ventures, but somehow I always was led back there because that was my home and my safe space and my happy space. But what I didn't realize is that I could be a teacher just in a different capacity. Maybe a classroom, with 25 kids wasn't the environment, but I still had knowledge that I could get out and I could deliver. But it took me a long time to get to the place where I felt confident enough and courageous enough to use my throat chakra to kind of like move into whatever my divine identity was. So you can have experience like that too, where you know that you're like in the lane, you know that you're moving, you're, let's pretend you're driving your car, your exit, right? But you're not quite sure of like how fast to go, or if you're going like, is that really my exit? Am I really supposed to get off here? Like, you know what I mean? And so sometimes if you're familiar with inner cities, you might be on a beltway. You might be going around again and again and again and again, never really sure if that's your exit. But your soul, your higher self, your spirit knows that's where you're supposed to go, but you just don't have the steps visually that you should take to get there. And so prolonged indecision about your passions and about your ability to create. You could have sat in that space for years, for decades, right? Knowing you have something to do, but not knowing how to do it. That was not by chance. That was by the design of whoever this hidden hand is, probably somebody close enough to you that always like to suggest things, try to get you in a move in a different direction, tries to take you off to your path. Well, have you thought about working here? Oh, I sent you a job for something I found. Oh, I think you'd be really good at this, right? All the while, this person knows the anointing on your life, but they also know that they never want you to actually get there and to discover it on your own. Now, I feel like the privileged lady, you, the star energy, at some point was afraid of your own ability due to the seeds that has been planted in your mind by whoever this mature person is. And when I say mature, I'm talking about age. I'm not saying that this person is emotionally mature. I'm just saying this is an older person, somebody who's old enough to know better, okay? So the goal was to end the intuitive spark, right? And so every time we get a spark, we get a flash, we get an idea, we have some type of insight, that's like God dropping seeds in us. And it's our job to take that seed, to plant it in the ground, and in return every single day to nurture it. Like that's what we're supposed to do. But every time you get the seed, it feels good when you get it. You have a quick flash, and then it disappears, right? And so something was not allowing you to hold on to that seed and then to go nurture and harvest it. And so this was the goal. This was the intention, for you to grab the seed and release it, grab the seed and release it, grab the seed and release it. And so those urges that you continue to get, you wouldn't be able to take a step towards it. You wouldn't be able to pursue your spiritual ambition. You wouldn't be able to pursue your passions. Paranoia, phobia, and depression. Those are all indicators of some type of magic that has been done on you to almost keep a cloud over you, right? It could be sunny outside, but something in your spirit feels like it's the cloudiest, gloomiest, darkest day ever. That was being projected onto you so that you would never see the light of the path ahead of you, okay? Now, blocking the sacral chakra of the privileged lady or the star energy was done to not only stop love, but to stop abundance. Because let me tell you, we talked about your sacral being the seat of sexuality and creativity. And so if you can't birth your creative mind, then that's energy, right? When you put out energy that's in alignment with you, what is beyond the realm waiting for you as a form of payment and reimbursement will not come to you either. And so you're acting and you're growing and you're working on everything you love. And love being a powerful currency, you're supposed to get some type of payment, almost like a paycheck, right? The universe has those laws, and what you put out, you get back. And so if you put out love and passion, you're going to get things back that allow you to continue to pursue what you love, continue to be passionate about certain things. Well, not only was love stopped, but money and wealth was stopped too. So let me tell you, love and relationships. So just like we know how powerful love is, if you are ever to be in a relationship with somebody that genuinely loves you for all of the right reasons, they are going to pour into you and they are going to regenerate. They are going to get your chakras moving in the right direction. And without even knowing or truly trying or consciously choosing, you are going to ascend and vibrate differently. And you will begin to birth things that are in alignment with you and your higher self and what it is you're supposed to do here on this earth. And so it's important not only to block your creative energy, which in turn blocks your financial energy, but also to block you from ever receiving pure, genuine love. Now your vibration, the vibration of the privileged lady, has the ability to call in a soulmate against all odds, right? And so keeping your vibration low to the point that you can't resonate high enough to bring in your tribe, to bring in the lover that's destined for you, is an intentional hack that this matrix has in place, right? And so I want you to know the people that are closest to you in this matrix life we live sometimes are meant to keep you stuck and stagnant, never to really ascend and grow. That's who this person is. This totally could be a father, an uncle, a brother, an old boss that you looked up to. This could be a mentor. I mean, this could be anybody where you would go to for peace and advice, and they would soothe you, but they would never say or do anything that would get you up and moving. You know, the goal was always to keep you sitting, stuck, and stagnant. And I want you to think about that person's life and what it looks like, because sometimes the energy that they are projecting to you, you can see the stuckness and stagnancy in their life as well. So nonetheless, as you vibrate higher, you start to pull in things that match your vibration, and that can't be stopped, okay? Now, when the privileged lady starts to create from the sacral chakra, she begins to emit a frequency, a vibration that simultaneously alerts her soul tribe and divine counterparts, right? And it's almost like a whale or whatever the ocean creatures are that have the ability to use sonar, right? And they could be miles and miles away in many different parts of the ocean, but they emit a sound, and that sound is like a call, and not everybody can hear it, right? And so I feel like as a divine being, you have levels of sound, right? And so some sounds are too high for the lower vibrational people to ever hear. And your tribe is able to pick up the frequency that you're emitting. And without even intentionally knowing who you're calling in, you will naturally begin to call them in. Life is energy. It's all about frequency and vibration. And so this mature woman may have received a message that you and your soulmate have had contact or soon will. Right? So somewhere in this, there was a breakdown in the ability for somebody to control you with doubt and fear. And so the higher your vibration goes, the more likely you are to pull in your soulmates and the divine counterpart that is most aligned to you. The privileged lady is very abundant. Star energy, I'm talking to you. You are very abundant. You're warm. You're a nurturer, a caretaker, and naturally you are going to be a magnet for wealth and abundance. And I want you to know that even when you are born into families as little babies and little children, you will never know what your energy looks like to another because it is you. Right? You will never know what you look like. You'll never know what you feel like because you are it. And sometimes to be a fly on the wall, to step in the body of another and to see what they see when they look at you, I think you would be so amazed, right? And so sometimes when people move against you relentlessly, they're moving against the energy that you have because they don't possess that, right? They don't possess it. And so if you grow up in a family of people who really don't understand love, don't give love, unconditional love, right? They're kind of narcissists. They're liars. They're always scheming, and rarely are they telling the truth if they're talking. But then here you are, just this natural, genuine, nurturing, loving person and you never ask for anything in return. This is just your normal. This is just how you show up. People want to attack that. I mean, I think they're envious and jealous of it, but then at some point they just want to put it out because they can't stand to look at it, to feel it, to sense it, to be around it, because it's a constant reminder of who they are not and what they do not have and what they do not possess. These can be people that have 10 times as many things as you in life, right? But it's a power that you possess within that just separates you and puts you in a league of your own. And this power was seen from the moment of your conception. Now, the privileged lady, the idea was to bind you mentally, right? Because the universe is mental. And so what's happening in between your ears, what's happening in your brain determines what you're able to project into your life, into your world. It determines the life that you have chosen to live. Those thoughts matter, right? And so the idea was to bound you mentally in a state of bad health. That was the plan, but that was also the plan that failed. So you were supposed to, in your mind, always believe that you are in a state of bad health, whether that's physical health, emotional health, spiritual health, psychological, financial. They didn't care, but you needed to be bound into thinking that you and your life and your existence was always going to be in a space of suffering, right? You were always going to be this overcomer. You were never going to be able to be this person that just triumphed and won, right? You were never supposed to be, you were never supposed to see yourself as someone who could just succeed without always stumbling, right? And so their goal was to have you think, when is the next obstacle coming? This always happens to me. I can never get anywhere. I can never have anything. This is just my life, right? This victim mentality. You were always supposed to be a victim of your own life, okay? And you were supposed to be generating all the ways in which you were going to be a victim because your mind and your thoughts were supposed to be bound to that mentality, right? You were supposed to believe that that was your existence. Now, the people that wanted to block love and remove all opportunities of love from your life are starting to realize that the power, and listen, many years of your life, they could have been very successful, and they could have been content with the outcomes of the work that they were doing on you behind the scenes. Now, meditation magic, right? And so I feel like if you attempt to meditate and it is the hardest thing for you, if you can never turn your brain off or turn it down or get it to a place of stasis where it can just chill and vibe, I think that was one of the mental projections that they were putting on you, right? They wanted to block your peace. They wanted to block your clarity. They never wanted you to have divine clarity. They never wanted you to trust in the link that you have with God, right? Because that's where you get those downloads. Source is your source for everything. And so when you're attempting to declutter your mind, you have to go to God. When you're attempting to declutter your life, you have to go to God. And so the idea was to cut you off from accessing the source, right? And they wanted to be your source. And so whatever they projected, that was what you were supposed to believe, as opposed to you going to the actual source itself, okay? So the star was to be trapped in loneliness. You were supposed to be isolated, indefinitely disappointed. But as the ancestors' greatest hope, this never truly happened without interruption, right? Because the idea is you're never alone. To be a star energy, you have to know you are never alone. I don't care if you spend the last 20 years sitting in a room by yourself, you weren't in that room alone, right? And so the support that you have beyond the veil is significant. And so that is the benefit, because nobody can see that, but they can sense something in you, but they can't see what surrounds you, right? They can't see it. And so this is why you have to at some point make connection to God, and whoever your spiritual team has been assigned to counsel and to guide and love and support you, because that is where your support comes from. So if you've dealt with a lot of rejection and abandonment and narcissism, these people were supposed to make you believe that what they were projecting onto you and the way they were treating you is all that you could ever have, right? Like, that is the idea. For you never to elevate and to think that you can have more, be more, become more, attract more. And so at some point there is a bloodline shift. And the bloodline shift that has occurred or will occur or is occurring is directly connected to you. So the bloodline shift that has occurred means that the path is now open for you, the privileged lady, the star, to become this Queen of Pentacles. And so this is somebody not necessarily female, but this is somebody that has the ability to take a seed, put it in the ground, grow an orchard. Oh, I got another seed. I'm going to put that one in the ground. I'm going to grow an orchard, right? And so whatever the ideas are, now you have the ability to snatch them out of the air, put them in the dirt, return every day to grow them. Now, there's no seed that you will grow physically in an orchard that grows overnight. And so this is where you have to have patience, because in the time of you planting the seed and seeing the harvest, this is where those attacks are going to pick up. Do you understand? Because the attacks that come are going to tell you it's not worth growing. Just quit. Nobody's liking your videos. Nobody's following you. You're never going to get clients. This idea has been done before. Nothing about yours is unique, right? And so this is where you need to purge all that mental clutter. And this is the season where you start to develop your connection to Source, to the point where nothing, no one, anything, nothing can sever the cord that you have with God. Okay, so I want you to know, once you plant that seed, you have to prepare for spiritual warfare. And it's going to be mental warfare. Somehow that's going to be our title. The warfare of the spiritual mind. Because that is what's happening. And so I want you to know that if you planted that seed, you are in there like swimwear. And I want you to continue to return every day to grow it. And work on it for 5 minutes a day. And listen, it's going to be a battle in your mind, because these energies are going to want to pull you back to who you used to believe you were, to who you thought you could be and what you could do, right? But I want you to know that you have that seed and you did put it in the ground, and all you have to do is return every day and just give it a little love. Just be that nurturing caretaker. Just give it a little love every day. Come back every day and just do a little thing, a little thing, a little thing. The idea is to get you to stop and to never return. So I want you to know that even if you return for 1 minute or 1 hour or 1 week, at least you returned. Just keep returning. Keep adding water. Make sure it gets some sunlight. Make sure it has space. Go ahead and pull up the weeds. Take away the parts that aren't working anymore. Go slow and steady. And trust in who you are, and trust in what you do have the ability to do. Okay? Your path is open to you. And you can walk this path. You have been divinely guided to walk this path out loud for all to see. And your support beyond the veil is significant. You are not alone. You are never alone. You'll never be alone. And you are your ancestors. You are their greatest hope. You are what they have waited for. And just your existence has shifted something in the bloodline. Something about your lineage, something about your family will never be the same because you were born. And there are things that you are supposed to do here now that you must do. Okay? You must do them. And you were called to do them. That's why you have the thought. That's why your mind always creates those fantasies about what could be, because they will be. Take the seed and plant it. Thank you so much. I'll see you on the next talk.